Week 5 is coming to a close, and it is coming to a close in style. It is Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, and has there been any more hype placed on a team this offseason than this one? Aaron Rodgers will do that. Finally got his wish. He is out of Green Bay. Will that rejuvenate his career? Well, that's something we're going to have to talk about because we have plenty to talk about here today. I am Jim Derry. This is bet.nola.com, powered by the Dattitude Podcast. And we are on number 20 of 32 team previews for 2023. I got a feeling you're going to be interested in my prediction for this one. I'm trying not to be like Joe Q Public, but it's really hard not to get excited. Okay, here we go. New York Jets. Last season in a nutshell is it really doesn't make one bit of difference, does it? I mean, when you think about when you're trying to predict teams and figure out what's going to happen this year, there are very few teams where it just doesn't matter what happened last year. And other than they had a really good defense and Garrett Wilson was a great rookie, and we hope Breece Hall gets back to what it looked like he could be. I mean, it really doesn't make much of a difference. Aaron Rodgers has completely changed this team. But that being said, let's talk about it a little bit. It started out well and good. In fact, it started out great. It looked like it was going to be that season that the Jets were hoping for. They started out 5-2 and then 6-3 with a crazy 20-17 upset win over their rival Buffalo Bills. Hasn't been much of a rivalry. Everything was going great, but then it changed on a dime. They went on to lose 7 of their final 8 games in the second half of the season, including a 6-game losing streak to end this season. And to make matters even worse, they scored just 9 points in their final 2 games to make it even more ugly and to make fans even more desperate in the Big Apple than they already were. Again, we talked about rookie running back Breece Hall and how good he looked, and Michael Carter was a nice, pleasant surprise. But, you know, the offense was really all about Garrett Wilson. He was one of the league's top receivers. 83 catches, had 147 targets for 1,103 yards, just 4 touchdowns. No other receiver on the team had even half of his 1,103 yards. And one of the receivers that was close to him, the number 3 receiver on the team last year, Corey Davis, has since retired at 28 years old. So this team has definitely had an overhaul. And, you know, much of the reason why Corey Davis retired is probably because he saw the writing on the wall of what was coming. This team has gone through a whole bunch to make sure that things are different this year. Now, that's what happens when you sign Aaron Rodgers. And we say so many things happen when you sign Aaron Rodgers. But one of the things that Aaron Rodgers can do is bring over some of his old buddies. You know what? Let's start with the offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, who had just a horrendous 2022 campaign, went to Denver, got his first job as a head coach. And look, man, it couldn't have gone any worse, right? Russell Wilson turned into a pumpkin. The Broncos were awful, and he was run out of town in a big way with 2 games to go. But he's back at the Jets. As long as you keep your name out of his mouth, Sean Payton, everything will be fine and dandy, and the Jets will be just fine. Well, you know what? They have a lot of offensive firepower, along with a decent offensive line, and some say good offensive line. We talked about some of the weapons. So to go along with Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers brought over his buddy Allen Lazard, and you know, Lazard already looks like he's picking up where he left off with Rodgers and is ready to go. And he's also got old man Randall Cobb. Is Randall Cobb going to be able to do anything? I'm not sure, but you know what? He doesn't have to, because already he's showing that he is a leader in that locker room, and he's a leader to the other receivers, and he's made a big impact already just through everything that I've read and seen. And that includes Mecole Hardman, who comes over from Kansas City. So Mecole Hardman coming from a team that won the Super Bowl, and now he's going to get a chance with the Jets. But all those receiving toys are nice. Doesn't make a difference if you can't run the ball. Again, Breece Hall was hurt for much of last year. He is going to come back. Started just 2 games last year, played in 7, ended up with just 406 yards. But you know what? That was enough to lead this team in rushing. That's how bad it was for the New York Jets. but you have to think it's going to get better. Because what did they do just, 3-4 weeks ago? They signed running back Dalvin Cook off the free agent wire from Minnesota. And Dalvin Cook, I think, has plenty left in the tank. He ought to be ready to go. And look, I love Breece Hall, but I think Dalvin Cook could be the number one running back for this team. He's fighting to stay in the league. If he has a really good season, he's going to set himself up for maybe a little bit bigger contract, even though he's getting to that age where running backs don't make a whole lot of money. He got a $7 million deal this year. If he can rush for 1,000 yards, he'll get another one of those $7 million deals next year. And that's what he's looking for, whether it be with the Jets or whether it not be with the Jets. We know one thing. They won't have to worry much about this defense. Defense, you see the numbers there on the screen. We've talked about it with the other teams in this division. You have to be good against the pass. 4th overall, but even better than that, 3rd against the pass. That's why they were able to hold Buffalo to 17 points in that 20-17 victory before things went south. If they can do those sorts of things again, and look, the Jets didn't score a lot of points last year. Still won 8 games. I mean, Robert Saleh, he's been successful at defense. That's the one thing they haven't worried about, even though you see on the screen, 7-10 last year, 4-13 the year before that. It hasn't been the defense. The defense has been incredible. And you know what? Who doesn't like a little bit of sauce with their 3rd-ranked defense? I mean, Sauce Gardner kind of came in as a rookie. You want to talk about 3 rookies that kind of took the league by storm. And again, even though Breece Hall got hurt, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, it was a lot of fun last year. I think this Jets team is going to be a lot of fun again. You know that they're going to be talked about a whole bunch. Let's look at the schedule, because they're going to be talked about even more in the first part of the season. Why? Because I don't know that there is a more brutal 6-game stretch to start the season. We talked about New England yesterday. This one is pretty darn close. The only difference between the Jets and New England is their schedule actually opens up, and they have a stretch of games that they can win later on in the season. Man, another team that could easily start 1-5 or 2-4, even with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they're playing teams that they're at their best, they're matched up evenly with. Not at their best, they're just going to get smoked. Buffalo on the first Monday night of the season, Aaron Rodgers' first game at home. Then he goes to Dallas before traveling and getting a little bit easier against New England. Man, Kansas City at Denver, Philadelphia. You mean you play the 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl in 3 weeks? That is insane. Does get a little bit better. There's some wins again after that bye week in week 7. It's a good time to have it, because you go at Giants, you get the Chargers at home on a Monday night, another primetime game against Vegas on the road, and at Buffalo. And again, that's when it really starts to open up. If they can be somewhere around 500 when they get to that Buffalo game, November 19th, things open up. Miami, Atlanta, Houston, 3 straight home games for a game at Miami again. They get Washington on Christmas Eve before finishing with 2 games on the road at Cleveland, at New England, games they can win. Look, I said it yesterday. There are some teams that I just didn't follow the schedule. This is a win, this is a loss, this is a win. I try not to be too hyped, but look, I think this team is going to find a way to navigate through that first 6-game stretch. So, drum roll, please. Let's get to it. I'm saying 11-6. I know the over/under win total, and they want you to bet the over. It's -125. I don't know if I like it enough to bet it. I told, again, for people that have watched me regularly, and you're just not picking me up on YouTube the past week or 2 or whatever. I've been talking on Dattitude. I got the Jets before Aaron Rodgers signed. You could kind of see the writing on the wall. I was projecting that he was going to go there. Got him at 35-1. But that was a long time ago. Now you can't do that anymore. Again, I'll put the old numbers back up on the screen, and you see what they are. I mean, you just can't bet any of those other numbers. These numbers have gone down. You kind of lost the bargain already. I mean, I just don't want to bet it. So the only thing that's even semi-bargain now to me, and again, this schedule is brutal, but if they can find a way to go 3-3 in the first 6 games, I think they easily win more than 9 games. It could be a lot of fun. Them and Buffalo going at each other, the Jets defense, the Buffalo offense, and then Aaron Rodgers against the Buffalo defense. I can't wait for it. We're going to move on next week. The week we've been talking about, week number 6, we have 2 teams a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we're going to be doing 2 divisions next week. It'll be both the Norths, the NFC North the AFC North, starting with the NFC. It's coming up on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you then.